Great. What's going on, guys? We're back at it with another video looking at FanDuel Week 10. Um Interesting spots this week. I think this is a pretty good week. Um let's just jump into it because if I keep talking about it, we're going to be sitting here for a little longer. Um Stupid thing. The hell? There we go. All right. Quarterbacks for this week. Definitely some interesting spots here. Is there one or two that are just completely standing out to you?
I really don't love the pay up range this week, which is odd because I felt like I kept landing there recently, but I don't really feel the need to go to 9K Lamar in this spot. I do kind of like Zay as standalone, but it just doesn't feel like the nuke spot for Lamar at this price tag. May's fine. He just continues to drop 20 every week, and I don't really understand how that offense even operates. They're just so mid, but so efficient. I don't get it. Stafford, he's okay. I'm probably not getting there. I think my favorite in this range is Goff and Dart. I like both of them. I guess if I had to lean one way, it'd be Dart just for the mobility. But I do think the lines will bounce back here. I think Washington is pretty much set up for failure for the rest of the season. So I like both of those guys. I like Caleb on the other side of that game too. And I don't think you can go wrong on either side of the Giants Bears game. Decent quarterbacks, decent stacking options, terrible defenses. Should be pretty decent fantasy output for both sides. Don't love Trev. Actually, I would probably never click him at 7,200 against Houston. JJ is like, I mean, I don't think he's any good, but he's capable of putting up fantasy points. So I guess 7,100 is fair against Baltimore defense has been pretty shambolic all year. Pay down range is pretty thin. If you had to pay down for somebody, I'd pay down for Mariota probably at 63. Like that's pretty dang cheap for someone who has mobility in a pretty decent matchup and he's playing at home. So that's kind of the five guys I like to be Dart, Caleb, Goff, and Mariota. And I guess if you really wanted to pay up, it'd probably be Lamar just because I like this. I like Zay, but
Yeah, I mean, we all know what these two are capable of doing, but I mean, 92 for Josh Allen, which could potentially be blowout game because Tua is on the other side for Miami's offense, so Drake May is interesting only because I remember seeing something that Tampa's defense is okay, but they give up a lot of explosive plays. Like they have like the highest rate of explosive plays or some crap like that. So I mean, I hate to admit it, but I think Drake May is a smash play. I don't know. Stafford, Baker, sure. I mean, New England's defense is solid, and I think Baker's kind of sort of come back down to earth because, like, the first four games, people were saying that Baker was the MVP, and he put up a dud against the Saints, and that was kind of a crappy game. But I mean, whatever. I agree with you with Goff, bounce back spots. Washington's defense is complete crap. Um, these four here are very interesting to me. Kind of like you said, Dart and Williams, both really solid. I thought I saw something that said there was going to be rain in the forecast, and I just checked it on my phone. There's rain like in the morning before the game, so shouldn't really affect anything. It's going to be a high of 40 though. But I mean, rather have that than rain. I think
Yeah, it
JJ
looks like it's going to be
McCarthy's fucking
34 at kickoff. I was just looking at the weather.
uh
That's not nice. 85 in Miami. Must be nice.
yeah. I think JJ McCarthy's fucking overrated as shit. Literally beat the Bears and then had that week 2 game and then all of a sudden he's magically out for like 6 weeks or whatever the fuck that was. Nothing else really stands out. I like the Mariota point you were talking about, 6,300. Detroit's defense is okay. Mobility, definitely not a bad spot to go to if you want to pay up somewhere else, but let's see the running back options this week.
It's an interesting spot, I think. It's not as clear as usual. I'm not sure where the ownership is actually gravitating at this point. I haven't checked updated ownership, but I wasn't really getting to, I mean, I was still getting CMC, but I was not getting him in droves like I usually do. Um, I think it's a factor of the just the matchup primarily. Just not a great fantasy output against the Rams usually. Um, I do like Cook in the pay up range. I'm a little concerned about this Q tag. I'd have to read more into how he's actually doing, but anything leg related on a running back just usually gives me the heebie-jeebies, especially at a 9.2 price tag. I do like Gibbs a lot, but I also like Goff, so it's kind of hard to say what kind of script I see going on there. Especially, I think Gibbs pretty much dudded last week, if I remember correctly. He had like three after having like 40. So I think they probably try to get him back on track. A-Chain looks pretty good in the same game for Buffalo, Miami. I feel the same way about Cook and A-Chain as I do about Dart and Williams in the same game. It's kind of hard to pick, and they're both priced similarly. Just kind of have to fall in the right game script. Henry's okay. I never click Kyron. I don't think Bucky's gonna play, and I don't really want to play Rashad White. Rico's fine. Again, leg injury. Have to read into it, but I'm assuming he's gonna play. Favor in this range is probably Judkins, just because I mean I don't know what state the Jets are actually going to be in after this week. I feel like they're kind of just going to hang it up. Um, Probably sees 20 touches, I would imagine. Unless like I don't know, is Jerome Ford back or something? Has he been out or is he just focusing on Judkins these days?
I think they're focusing on Judkins. Juicy, yeah.
Okay.
Juicy, he like reposted something that says he's like, I don't care about my job.
I
This shit was
didn't see that.
fun.
Um, I don't really want to play Brees in that spot. Um, I can't justify paying like 7K for Kenneth on like 11 touches, even if he's uber efficient sometimes, which he hasn't been recently. So it's just like, why? He should be like 600. I mean, 600 to 1,000 less, I feel like. Swift is probably the best play in this range. I do wonder how much they're going to feature Manungai after a pretty good performance last week. I would imagine instead of like the 70-30, 75-25 it was before, maybe it's like 65-35 on touch percentage, something like that. Can't play JCM. Don't really love the Minnesota spot. They priced up Manungai. Tracy was chalk. After a dud last week, he's probably not going to be his own, I would imagine. Um, Usually feels like a good get right spot after something like that occurs, but I probably won't get there anyways. Montgomery's cheap for how good the Lions offense is. And I think that's kind of it. I don't really want to play with the Patriots backfield.
Yeah. kind of unlike you, I kind of like Christian McCaffrey, but I mean, I think I've said it before. McCaffrey's a guy you can play almost every week, no matter what. He's probably gonna have dud days, but I mean, a dud day to him is like 12 fantasy points, you know what I mean? But definitely in agreement with Cook and A Chain. I played Gibbs last week in like a random ass lineup, and that worked out very shitty. And I was kind of wondering if he was hurt or whatever, but I think Montgomery was actually just running the ball a little bit better. But I mean, bounce back spot, I guess. Um, Judkins, like you said, is very interesting. The Jets just traded off the Williams kid, and Sauce Gardner's out in Indy now. I can see 20 to 25 touches easily. Swift. See, my thing is thinking Manungai might, like, if Manungai gets like better yards per carry to start off the game, who's to say that Ben Johnson won't just be like, you know what, let's just throw Kyle out there and then have like Swift on third down. I think that's very thin. Like, that probably won't happen because Swift is actually, I mean, I know he was out last week, but prior to that, he's actually been running the ball better. But JCM, no, biggest football industry plan ever. That was insane. Yeah, I hate Minnesota here. I think Tyrone Tracy is going to be chalk. I mean, against the Bears rush defense and being god awful. And at 63, Montgomery, obviously, like you said, pretty cheap for Lions offense. Hubbard is a smash spot if Dowdle doesn't play, but I do think that Dowdle practice limited yesterday, and usually when that's the case, um, they tend to play. I would like Travion Henderson more if they actually fucking played him, but who's a guy that vultured a touchdown from him last week? I've never heard of that guy in my entire life.
I think his name was Terrell Jennings.
Who the hell is that? Why is he getting more, not more, but why is he getting touches?
It was pretty close to 50-50 from what I can recall. Pretty surprising.
Let's see if is he even on the fucking slate? If my laptop would work.
There he is.
Yeah, like who the hell is this guy? Whatever. All right. On to wide receivers.
Uh, Kind of a weird place to end up in the priced up range, I feel like 10K Puka, yeah, he probably gets there in this spot. Divisional rival, maybe trailing game script on the road. Stafford just peppers this guy. I think I probably prefer JSN. I don't really see Seattle being that efficient on the ground these days, and they're going to pull out a win against the Cardinals, who've actually looked pretty decent as of late. I expect JSN to just see 10, 12 targets. Amon Ra, I keep saying the Lions probably go for 35 here, so you can't really write him off. And McCarthy is cheap enough that a stack with Jefferson is kind of in play, especially against the Ravens. But I couldn't give you like a full discrepancy between any of these top guys. Like, I couldn't fault you for playing any of them. I will say paying 9K for Adams seems a little high. Like, he was like 7K last week, and he has been like all season. I'm surprised he actually got that jump. It's not like Puka's out anymore, so I just don't really get that. Nico's like, I mean, Mills is starting, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not a bad spot, but I do really want to pay up for a receiver when Davis Mills thrown to him. Not really. Ekbuka's fine. Kind of boring play. Rome is interesting because of the duds he's had. I feel like that'll keep people off of him in a pretty good matchup, but he also is, I mean, the floor is actually zero, so you know you're taking the risk there. Not playing Garrett, not playing Jordan, and although he continues to kind of get there. Debo looks interesting. McLaurin's probably out again because he's just soft as feathers. I don't know. You could play some of the turd Washington receivers like Jalen Lane, I guess. Brian Thomas, I'm never clicking again. Olave, no thanks. Ted, whatever. He should be like 500 cheaper. Jameson, floor zero, ceiling is like 25. You know what you're getting with him. Terry, like I said, he's just not going to play. DJ Moore is fine. Like if you're really convinced that Odunze just kind of stinks, or if they don't really want to feature him anymore, then I'm fine with paying 1,000 cheaper for DJ Moore. Jennings, whatever, he's fine. This range is all kind of like Like they're all probably gonna get you like 10. Wandale's ceiling is like 10, but his floor is also like 8. So you kind of know what you're getting from him, like 10 receptions for 40 yards. Um, I mean that's kind of it. I mean the Pats guys are like one of them feels like they go for like 6 for 101 every week, and I never know which one to click. And I saw that Cedric Tillman was 4K flat, and he's supposed to come off IR, which is pretty interesting. I know that, Cleveland hasn't really been featuring receivers as far as a fantasy output goes, but it's a great matchup. They've lost their two best players on defense, and he's 4K. So that's kind of what I like.
I'm in the same boat as you, top four guys. If you're playing Stafford or not, play Puka. Easy pair here with JJ McCarthy, obviously Goff. Are you touching Tampa at all or no?
I don't really love the run game, but I do kind of like the game environment. I feel like it could be a little bit back and forth. Um, so if I had to, I would try to focus on Ibuka and maybe like Auden if he's cheap enough. But
Well, because this is what I was thinking when I was scrolling through.
Tez,
He's been getting targets, and obviously with Godwin not playing and Evans out, that's kind of a dart throw, but he's a deep ball threat, so if Baker can connect a couple with him. Uh Old man Debo, no shots. Jordan Addison, I hate with all my heart, only because last season he kind of beat the shit out of the Bears. Yeah, Brian Thomas, I can never do it again. His OC is my former OC, and I don't trust him. Ted, kind of like you said, if he was a little cheaper, like early on in the season when he was like what, like 50, literally like a grand cheaper, I would click on him every single time. Yeah, DJ Moore is interesting. Kind of like you were saying with Rome, people probably won't play Rome as much considering that win against Cincy, Rome had fucking zero. But I mean, DJ threw a touchdown pass to Caleb. He had 20 fantasy points. So I mean, 6,400 a grand cheaper than Rome. Kind of like that spot. And he also lines up in the backfield.
the problem with DJ for me is like, as we just saw at the game log, he only gets max like 6, 7 targets a game, so he has to be uber efficient.
Yeah, no, I
And
I see you.
which it can be. I mean, obviously he's doing like one fantasy point per touch, it looks like pretty much, uh, or at least target wise. And then he broke out last week because he threw one and ran one. Um, but I would prefer Odunze if he has the ceiling for like 10 to 12 targets, something like that. And in this
Right.
range, like Jennings probably has the highest ceiling for targets, I feel like, especially if Pearsall's out again. But I mean, the Niners just continue to spam running the ball, so uh, I just don't see them being that efficient on the ground this week, though. But then again, they ran on Houston, and no one's run on Houston all year, so
Right. I'm just convinced Ricky Pearsall just doesn't play again. I don't know what the hell is going on. Yeah, didn't practice again. He was able to run on the side for a second week in a row.
woohoo.
Great.
Slayton's like,
Still not clicking him, but
I wish he was a little cheaper because he really is just truly a flyer. Like you need him to score like a 40-yard tud, but it's a good spot to be in. I wish the weather was a little better.
my thing with these New England guys, I always click on Diggs
Yeah,
and he does nothing. And then you have these two bots here that just take everything.
yeah.
And if I remember correctly, no, he didn't practice. All right, well, it looks like I'm playing Demario Douglas.
Parker Washington is cheap enough for his like 8 targets, but like I don't really love the matchup. I just don't play anything against Houston like ever. It's just not worth it.
Well,
The ceiling is
unfortunately,
low.
unfortunately, he has Trevor Lawrence as his quarterback, so
I mean, if we just take a look at the over-unders quick, we got Atlanta at 48 and a half. Oh wait, that's at 9:30 a.m. My bad. We got Miami Buffalo at 50, Bills minus 9.5. So obviously lean the Cook script. Bears minus 4.5, over under 46. I kind of like that. It's close enough spread to where you're like, oh, it should be competitive and a decent total. Again, I guess the weather is just kind of a little bit concerning. I don't know if Dart's ever really played in the actual cold before. He's from Ole Miss, so Carolina's pretty low total, but I do like the running game there. The Jets and the Cleveland game is a 37 total. Like that's pretty gross. You're maximum picking one spot from that game. Jags same total, and Houston's defense is a little better than the Jets defense, so I'm just not playing any sides of that game. Tampa's at 48 and a half and a 2-point spread. So it's probably the most likely competitive game of the day, but it's just hard to pick. Like Tampa and New England just distribute fantasy points so oddly. And I hate Rashad White. So Baltimore looks pretty good, I guess. I mean, Zay is cheap-ish. I don't think we talked about Zay.
isn't he like seven? Yeah, 71.
It's not the best matchup in the world, but if Henry can't get it going, you know where the ball's going. It's going to Zay.
Every time I click him, he does nothing.
And yeah, I think I like JSN the most of the payups after looking at all this stuff.
No, of course. How did he do? He went crazy. Yeah, I mean, four straight games in a row with 21 or better. I mean,
He's
that's just
just
insane, dude.
he's just a focal point of the offense. They aren't efficient anywhere else. And then the Lions look pretty good. There's actually some pretty healthy totals. I was pretty surprised on here. I mean, there's some low ones. There's some 37s, but there's a lot of 48s, 49s. It's actually a pretty decent slate. I mean, you'd need to see updated ownership, but I feel like there's going to be pretty spread out this week, unless there's like more injuries news.
So what I'm hearing is with all these high totals, min cash is going to be like 200.
Yeah,
It's going to be
exactly.
disgusting. Tight ends probably don't have to spend too much time, but How you thinking about your boy McBride?
He's fine. I hate paying up for tight end. Um, it's such a costly spot if they dud. Like you're more likely to have like the 7K receiver rather than like the 4.8 receiver go nuclear. So I'd rather do that than have $4,800 tight end just like waltz his way in the end zone at one time. Um, but McBride is fine. Arizona's looked pretty bad on the ground. So if like last week, like if Marv doesn't go off, the Cowboys game is pretty ugly. Um, so I think they continue to attack the air here, especially against Seattle on the road. McBride is probably fine at 7K. Not playing Laporta at 64 on his like three targets game. Are you crazy? Um, Kincaid is okay. I wasn't really getting a lot of Allen, but it's just a consequence of the price tag, especially with a $6,200 tight end. It's hard to stomach. Kittle, I don't know what to make of Kittle. Like he could have a game where he has nine targets and the next game literally have one. It just depends how the offense is flowing.
Unless he, unless he's like my most exposed guy when I run a sim or something, I'm never playing Kittle. Because wasn't it his first game back where he literally had zero? I had a lineup with him, and
Yeah.
I love the guy. He's funny and all that, but I can't do it.
Andrews is decent. I I, I wish he was like 500 to 1,000 cheaper, to be honest. Like all these guys are just so overpriced for their average fantasy output. You need 3x, right? Pretty much 3 to 3.5x per position. I mean, what are the odds that any of these guys get you 18? It's pretty slim. They're averaging like 8.
Did you forget what happened? Um, Last primetime game, Mark Andrews almost had three
Yeah.
touchdowns. He
I do like Barner a little bit. I think he's a little overpriced, but uh,
practice
he
limited, so we should be fine.
he looks decent. Theo Johnson's a pretty good play. Hawk, never again. Colson Levin got there on some cheese, and now he's priced up. I'm not touching 5,600 Loveland. Otten's fine. I guess if I had to rank, it'd be like Kincaid, Otten, maybe like one of the Cleveland guys, and Barner. But it's pretty ugly. I mean, if you really want to play it safe, just click McBride and get your like 10. But just know he's probably not getting you 3x.
Yeah, Laporta, I kind of understand. Doesn't get many targets at 64. The funny thing though was last week he had on the first drive he had three receptions for like what was it like 60 yards
40.
and a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's kind of a once in a blue moon for him. Kincaid, I think, is probably the best option here. I do like Andrews a little bit. Theo Johnson, I mean, for some reason, this guy is getting a lot of targets and performing well-ish. Nothing insane, but um my bias is coming out a little bit. I like Loveland, and the only reason why I think he is priced up is Komet has a concussion, and I don't think he's playing. Oh,
Yeah,
after
definitely not clicking him now.
after getting pretty much knocked out, he's practicing. Okay, interesting. All right, never mind. No Loveland.
How expensive is Ertz? He's cheap enough, especially with no McLaurin. I think
Yeah,
that kind of makes sense.
50. I would expect him to be up there a little bit more, but I don't hate that price tag actually.
And Schultz is fine.
Yeah.
But again, you got Mills back there. Which compared to how Stroud's been playing, like is that much of a downgrade?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Harold Fannin. Didn't practice yesterday. Njoku looks like he's in a good spot. I mean, he's only 200 cheaper, but and yeah, that's tight ends. I mean, you can't really talk much about these guys. I'm always I'm always love playing Trey McBride, and especially now since Kyler went on IR, which was comedic timing because they named Jacoby Brissett the starter, and then he magically goes on IR.
Hmm.
But Kyler is kind of smart because he knows that Black Ops 7 comes out next week, so smart man. Oh yeah, Kincaid, Andrews, Ertz, maybe Njoku, depending if Fannon's out or not. You're honestly better off like legitimately throwing a dart on a few of these guys.
I think
Maybe.
the script of the pay-ups favors McBride, I think.
And I
Like
know
they're most likely in a trailing script to have to throw, and they only have two guys, really.
and I know when I run a sim Sunday morning, it's gonna be all McBride. And I'm either gonna be very happy or I'm gonna be very upset. Um, but that should just about do it though. Do we forget anything? Anything you want to add?
I didn't know if you wanted to build like a dummy lineup,
All right,
see
yeah,
how it
let's do it.
works,
Let's do it. I gotta reshare my screen.
just to see how the build looks.
What is going on with my laptop? There we go. All right, let's do it.
Do we like Dart, Caleb, or Goff the most? I think I like Dart the most, and then we can run back with Swift, but that's kind of just how I see the script going.
You're asking the Bears fan if he likes Caleb Williams. We can run Dart.
And then Swift, and then you want to go Slayton over Wandale? Or do you like Theo? I think I want to pay up for McBride, so I think I'll just play Slayton.
Yeah, we'll do. What the? No.
Yep. All right, you pick next. What do you like?
Hmm. All right, so average is 64. I'm kind of just looking at that. Hmm. I think we got to go Judkins.
Okay,
So let's do Judkins. Let's see wide receivers. So we have Slayton already.
maybe one of the Washington kids, like Lane.
I meant to
Give
look at his price earlier and I totally forgot. 48. Gotta click him. I mean, we already have kind of cheap, you know.
Yeah, but this
But
should give us at least a couple pay ups here now, right? If once we click a defense, let's go ahead and click a defense. Surely there's a pay down. Carolina.
oh, because what's his name starting? I forgot about that. It's not Rattler anymore.
8,200. That's pretty
Oh
good.
shit. Aha, there we go. All right.
Can't believe they actually saved. That's crazy. I think I want to do the mini stack with JSN.
I see that.
And where does that leave us? 69? I think that was like Aaron Jones range, which kind of sucks.
Olave, ETN, Tet, yeah, Jones, Marv.
All
Ugh.
right, that kind of stinks. Hmm, don't really know where to get off of here.
Uh,
Maybe Lane's too cheap of a flyer. We can go up a little bit.
the other thing I was thinking was going to Ertz here, but I mean, this mini is pretty solid.
Yeah. Hmm. I mean, I don't want to play two Browns in a 37 total, but Tillman is 4K.
You want to try out Tillman? See
Sure.
that.
77. Uh, no,
Roll.
that's not really it either.
Yeah,
All right,
right.
take Tillman out. And what other defenses are available?
So if we take out Carolina,
Dang, that's kind of it, to be honest. It's just kind of play Carolina. Click them, and then maybe let's take Judkins out and try to fluctuate around that. I do like Judkins though. Maybe we can play Rico instead and pair him with the defense. Where does that leave us? 56. All right, then plug Lane back in maybe. 65. Manungai. Both Bears backs, that'd be hilarious.
what if
We probably need a lion. Is Montgomery like 6K?
he's 6'1"?
Let's click him for now. So we have 400 remaining. Can we get off Rico for something else in the eights? Is A Chain 84, 85? Oh shit. He's 85. Uh,
That would have been kind of clutch if he was 84.
yeah. I mean, Harry's not a bad play, but I really prefer A Chain for 100 more. Is there someone at 6K we can get off of Montgomery?
Let's get off Montgomery. Let's check.
Oh, the double stack.
Oh.
I I can't double stack Dart. That's insane. I mean, Trev is there, but he's just they hate this guy.
Someone's just gonna take out this Terrell Jennings bot, whoever the hell he is. So then Henderson is forced to play.
Yeah, this range stinks. Maybe we can go Tillman over Lane and get like full punt. Oops, not in the flex.
I was gonna say,
Oh, we're back at 6,900. What are we doing? Um, let's go maybe Cook over Henry, and that'll put us at does that put us at 61? Bang. And then we can put Montgomery back. I like that. I hate playing 4K Tillman, but he is literally free.
well, like we talked about earlier, though, 4K coming back from IR punts play. You hope he maybe gets a couple of receptions. I don't really hate
I
this.
mean, one gritty, he's there. It's
No, for
just
sure.
the Browns just kind of stink, but the Jets also stink. So I mean, it could be 10-3, or it could be like, oh, maybe the Browns score like 24 for once.
Wouldn't bet money on that, but
No.
yeah, that is a possibility.
But I do like the other pieces in this lineup enough to where I'm like, okay, I'm willing to take the risk on a turd from Tillman for the ceiling of someone like a Cook and a JSN and the run back with a McBride. and Montgomery in a game where the Lions might score 40.
Yeah, actually, I like this lineup a lot. Hopefully the Bears defense fucking sucks, so they'll probably allow Jackson Dart to get like 25. I mean, we let fucking 50-year-old Joe Flacco that has a sprained AC joint get like almost 500 yards, so
Exactly.
God knows what Jackson Dart will do. All right. Now that should be it. Right.
Yeah,
Is there anything
I got
else?
nothing else to cover. Just make sure to check out our videos as we continue to release them per week. Try to cover every slate in detail as much as we can, and appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.